Hello, Rome. It's nice to meet you. My name is Christina Seal, and I'm a social worker here at the clinic. I've been here for a couple of years, and if you have any questions about me or what I do here, you can just feel free to ask. Um, my name is Christina, and you can just call me Christina. Um, do you mind if I call you Rome, or would you rather I call you Miss Stanford?
Rome's good.
Okay. Well, before we get started, how about we first, do you mind if I take a few notes? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we begin, maybe we should start by discussing the clinic's confidentiality policy. The first thing I would like for you to know is that everything that we talk about here is confidential, and that just means that whatever you tell me, it stays here. I don't go and talk about it with anyone else. There's a few exceptions. If I feel like a child is in danger, or if I feel like you're a danger to yourself or to anyone else, then I would have to report that to my supervisor. But other than that, then it's confidential. So if you don't mind, if you want to take a look at this and sign, then we can go ahead and continue. Okay, you have any questions about that, Ron?
No, I understand.
Okay, now, how about you tell me a little bit about yourself? How old you are and where you're from?
I'm 18. I live in Indiana, and I am part of a big family. I just started college, and I've always had a 4.0 all through school, and I love to read and study.
Oh, that's wonderful, Ron. That sounds fantastic. But how about you tell me a little bit about what brought you here today?
Like I said, I've always got good grades and in school, and I love to study. And so college sounded fun to me and a perfect fit, but I'm struggling with everything from grades to my roommate.
Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Rome. What do you mean, though? What's your struggle?
Our first month of school was fine. I was able to study. I missed home, but I was able to cope with that. Then things took the worst turn. My roommate started having parties in our apartment, and lots of people were coming over and staying, and lots of drinking, which I've never done. In the beginning, it was really tough, and I started drinking with them because I had a lot of stress and I wanted to relax and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So there was so much pressure on me to drink because of my stressful time at college so far.
So, this drinking for the stress, has that helped anything, or how is that done?
It's not working at all. My grades are dropping. I miss my family. I don't like this party environment. I just thought it would be easier, like I loved high school, and I just assumed that I would excel at college level as well. But with all the stresses in my life, I'm having a hard time coping with everything. My advisor suggested I could come in and see you and see if you help me because truthfully, right now, I just want to quit college.
Oh, well, I'm so sorry to hear that. So, could you tell me a little bit about what brought you to college? I know you said you've always liked studying and everything. What do you want to do with your future? What were you majoring in?
I've always wanted to be a nurse since I was a little girl. I just love the idea of taking care of people, and I'm so afraid that this is going to ruin my chances of having that and being a nurse. This anxiety is something new for me, and I never felt like this before or been in this situation.
Well, Rom, I'm glad you came in here today. I think that we have plenty of resources here that we can help you to be able to succeed in becoming a nurse, because it sounds like that you are good at academics, and that maybe we just need to help you figure out how to deal with these stresses in your life. So does that sound okay to you?
Mm-hmm. That sounds amazing. I wanted to do well, but I have all this added stress, the drinking, the partying, and most unexpected that has never been who I am.
Okay, well, I think we need to set some goals. And what would you think about if we started with maybe your housing situation, since that's where a lot of this problem seems to be coming from, is your your roommate and having the partying and the drinking in your place. I think that maybe if you know, do you think if you had that your roommate is going to change at all, or do you think this is pretty much a situation where you're going to have to get another roommate?
I don't think so. I didn't know it was going to be like this when we moved in together. But she has never been a studier or has always partied. Don't get me wrong, I like her as a person, but I can't live like this anymore.
Well, do you think maybe that you could stay with a friend, um, for this next week or so until maybe you can find a more permanent solution? Like maybe you can find a new roommate where maybe you could share the rent on an apartment, or you know something like that in the next couple of weeks, because without being able to study you're going to get too far behind in your classes. So I have some um, resources where I can help you to find a place if you can't, but let's start with some friends and see if maybe you can find you know something on your own, or maybe you can find something on campus. How does that sound?
That sounds like a great place to start.
Okay. Well, you mentioned that you're having trouble with your grades dropping, and that's not the way things usually are with you. Um, I think maybe we could have some goals, or well, first some things, some techniques for studying might help, because I know it is a completely different environment at college than it is when you're at home, when you have your parents helping you to remember to study and that kind of thing. So maybe if we had some techniques, maybe some schedule some study time, make sure that you have your plans in place for that. Some relaxation techniques and that kind of thing that helps you to calm down from all the stressors in your life if you're trying to take a test or something like that. And you mentioned the drinking, and I think that especially as you get older and in college life, you need to, maybe if you're going to parties or something, you need to have a exit plan in place. Like if you don't think there's going to be drinking and there is, maybe you could have a friend that you could call at any time and they would come and get you, and you don't have to worry about that one thing. You know, does that sound like some things you think maybe you could work on?
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Yeah.
All of these things are important, are very stressful in our lives. Like your family. I know that you said that you're missing your family.
Mm-hmm.
So, and your anxiety from all of these stressors together. Maybe another good idea, Rome, would be, how about you try in the next week to maybe find a doctor here in town, because I know that since you're from Indiana, you don't have a doctor here in town. Why don't you try to find a doctor and maybe talk to him about the stress that's going on, and see if maybe you might need to have some medication to help you to deal with the stress until we can get these other things under control. And then if you do, then make sure that you take your medicine, as he has prescribed it for you. You think so?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, and being away from our family is really hard. Do you talk to your family much?
No, because it makes me sad to talk to them, and I don't want to worry them.
Well, I understand that. It is hard when we're away from our loved ones. I know, though, as a mom, I know that they would like to be a part of your life, and the good and the bad. They would like to know what's going on with you, And I have a feeling that it would probably help with the stress too if you could talk to them, talk to any of your family, and just it probably would help your stress as well. So maybe this week you could try to talk to your family a couple times and just let them know what's going on and see if that could, help with the stress level a little bit too.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I'm sure they miss me. I can tell something is wrong, so I'll talk to them, and I need to talk to them.
Okay. Well, Rome, I'm sure that will help some. And all of these things that we've talked about today, how about we summarize what we talked about so we can make sure that we haven't left anything out, and talk about the goals that we did set for you, and see, make sure, like I said, we don't leave anything out. Now, I know that this transition from high school to college can be really tough. It's, college is tough for anyone, but when you're straight, out of high school, it's hard. Everything is different. So I think we mentioned maybe some study techniques that, helps college students, and de-stressors and those kind of things, relaxation techniques. And yes, we mentioned maybe that you could do a tutoring session sometime if these, other techniques are not helping much. Maybe we can make sure that you have a tutoring session sometime in this next week, and get on a schedule as far as your studying and all that stuff. And I think one of the big important things too is, you're finding your new place and making sure that there's, a relaxing place for you to not only study and make sure that you're doing okay for your classes, but a place where you can relax and make your college experience what you hope for. Also, the drinking, making sure that when you go to either to a party or even to a friend's house, if they start drinking and you're uncomfortable, maybe have that friend available that you can call at any time, and you know that they'll come and get you, or they'll make sure you get home safely. We also talked about making sure that you find a doctor. Now, I have a list of some doctors I think would be good if you can't find one yourself, that I'll give you today, and some brochures about the studying techniques and tutors that you can get a hold of. And if you do see the doctor, make sure that you, and they give you medication, make sure that you take that medicine, okay? So, do you think these are some goals that sound good to you, and like that you might like to work on, and that if you accomplish these, maybe they'll help you to get back, on track to being a nurse?
Yeah, it really does. I'm glad I came in today. Now I have a hope that my nursing dreams will maybe come true.
Oh, I hope so. I really do hope so, Rome. How about we meet this time on Monday, and let's see how many of the goals you've reached or what kind of progress you've made, and I will get you some information before you leave today about maybe some other apartments in case you don't have a friend. And then we'll see where you're at on Monday, okay?
Yeah, that sounds good. It's been nice to meet you, and I look forward to seeing you next on Monday.
Oh, well, I look forward to seeing you again on Monday too, Rome. It's been nice.
Okay, bye.
Bye.